Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mama of 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. Do you feel drawn to sugar? Maybe when you're feeling stressed or at the end of the day, maybe you're reaching for chips or sweet treats. And keep in mind that things like chips, even though we think of those more salty or savory, those basically act like sugar in our bloodstream. They're a fast-acting carb. So today I'm really going to be talking about being in choice around food, and specifically when it comes to sugar. Sugar is so powerful. It gives us a hit of dopamine, and that is what we reach for. It makes us feel good when we have it, so it's easy to keep that cycle going. So it's really important to understand what's going on and to most importantly, be in choice around sugar and around food, to not let those control you. And sometimes this can take a while to get to this place. So one of the first things I think you really need to do is really understand nutrition and some of the science behind sugar. Because in the culture that we're living in, we're surrounded by big portions, by junk food. I mean, sugar is hidden in so many things that it has just become a part of our diet. It's just become a part of what is at parties, church groups, all these other places. So we have to come back to a place where we can have more knowledge, because all of that is really led by marketing. It's led by business. It is not led by health. So you have to start to really understand what sugar does to your body, what it does to your energy levels, what it does to your mood. Maybe it increases your anxiety. So I want you guys to really start to notice and tune into your bodies. This is what I work with people all the time. When we can start to tune into our bodies and notice how things make us feel. How does it feel when you start your day with a bake? How does it feel when you start your day with a donut and coffee? What happens in the rest of your day? And also, as we're talking here, there is a difference between natural sugars found in fruits and added sugars, and even like honey and maple syrup and regular cane sugar. And then we also have the sugar that is in those fast-acting carbs, like our bread. And the difference between when we're talking about an apple that has naturally occurring sugar is that in that apple, we're getting lots of vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and fiber. So it doesn't impact our blood sugar the same way that maple syrup does, or a piece of bread does, and those other fast-acting carbs. So keep in mind that those are different. And I also want to bring up the point here that it becomes really important to read food labels and know what is in your food, because sugar is snuck into everything. And especially if you are going out to eat and have the opportunity to look at food labels and nutrition, look at it and check the amount of sugar that is in food when you're going out, especially Asian food and barbecue sauce. Those tend to have a ton of sugar in it. So making sure that you are looking into that. And this is something that I go over in my course, Healthy Inside and Out. And we spend a couple weeks here really learning how to balance our blood sugar, understanding protein and protein's impact on our blood sugar, and fiber and how much we should get of each of those. And especially when it comes to protein, it's different for everybody because it's based on your body weight. And I also dive deep into blood sugar hacks so that you can really manage your blood sugar levels. And this also helps when we can manage our blood sugar levels. It does help with cravings, because when our blood sugar is all over the place, it's going to increase the amount of cravings that we have. And the second piece when it comes to being in choice with sugar is to really look at that emotional connection to sugar. So we really need to have this understanding of nutrition, what's happening in our body, so that logical part of our brain. But we also need to connect to this emotional piece, because a lot of times this emotional piece is what drives us. This is where we feel stuck. So this could be stress. This could be boredom. This could be anxiety. We could also be doing some of this out of habit. We could be doing this because this is what happened when we were a kid and we were sad. We were given food to comfort us. Or on the more happier emotional side, whenever we did something well, maybe we were celebrated with treats and rewards and we're really stuck in rewarding ourselves with sugar. And how do we step out of this? And I think one way is to develop a more mindful eating approach. And when we can start to tune into our bodies, this helps. And this is something in my course. And also in my course, I included meditations for really being able to love your body and be grateful for your body. Because when we can start to love ourselves, accept ourselves, and be kind to ourselves, we're going to want to nourish our bodies better. And most of us aren't in a place where we have been raised to do this, to love and be grateful for our bodies. But when we can spend more time appreciating our bodies for all they've done, it helps us to want to nourish our bodies better. So this is really a huge piece, and this is where a lot of people get stuck. So if you have the knowledge, the next piece is working on that emotional connection to sugar, breaking down those habits, especially if you want to be in choice and you want to be free. Sometimes we're not ready to make these changes yet, and that's okay because health is a journey. So I want you to think about where you are along your journey and what you're ready to do. So if you can pause and you know deep down, I am not ready to give up whatever it is, then it's not the time to work on it. You have to have that where, okay, I'm willing. I don't know how I'm going to do this. This seems really hard. And that part's okay. But we want to make sure we're willing first because we want that positive feedback. If we're constantly fighting ourselves, we're not going to move forward and it's going to make us feel frustrated and want to give up. And I think another thing that can really help is, especially if you are feeling a lot of stress and you're busy and you're struggling with being in choice around sugar, is using different tools to help to reduce your stress. So maybe that's walking, yoga, meditation, things like that. And also using some supplements to help reduce your stress and inflammation. So you can be more in choice when it comes to around sugar, because if our stress is high, our capacity to be in choice around sugar is going to be really, really low. So that is why I like Organifi's green juice, and I have it in the morning. It has a clinical dose of ashwagandha, 600 milligrams, and it also has some other nutrients that help with its stress and are really increasing the amount of nutrients in your body. And Organifi also has their gold, which is an evening drink, which has lemon balm in it, a calming herb, a really big dose of turmeric. And this turmeric also helps to decrease inflammation in our body. But these are also helping to reduce our stress from a botanical standpoint. And we can have less stress and less inflammation in our body. It allows our body to feel better. And it also allows us to be in choice. And if you guys want to check out Organifi's green products, I recommend their green juice. I like the apple crisp flavor and the Organifi gold. It comes in a few different flavors. And start being consistent with these. And you can use the code healthy20 and you guys are going to save 20%. The other supplement when we're thinking about decreasing stress and inflammation is omega-3s. Omega-3s are huge anti-inflammatory property. And so my favorite is Enzino's Balance Oil, because they add polyphenols to it, so it's not oxidized, no fishy taste, and you can actually test your level at home so you know where your omega-3 ratio and index is, and then start supplementing and making sure you're getting that level up well. There's going to be links down below if you guys are interested in that. The other thing that's important when it comes to making healthy choices and being in choice when it comes around sugar is that the more we can start our day off better and the more healthy foods we can put into our body, the less likely we're going to be having those sugar cravings. I want you to think when it comes to sugar, if you are a person who needs to cut it totally out, or you can slowly decrease. There's no right or wrong answer. Everybody's a little bit different, and you want to think about what is going to work for you long term, just not in the short term. And it comes back to listening to your body, to knowing yourself, and making sure that you are fueling your body with as much healthy food as you can. Remembering, as I say always, health is a journey. So you are where you are in your journey. There's no right or wrong. It's going to look different for everybody. So what you are doing now at working on being in choice with sugar, reducing your amount of sugar, may look different than what you're doing a year or 3 years from now. There was one point when I was younger, I think in my 20s, I typically had ice cream every night. And then there was a point, when was this? Maybe like 5+ years ago, I'm not sure. I remember my husband would buy me cheesecake because I just would get a piece at Aldi's, like, so I could have one a week or something. They came in little slices, and he noticed that. So he started buying more of them. And it was hard for me to not eat it because I love cheesecake. And then I started putting on weight and not feeling good. And that didn't work. So I stopped eating it. And really, as I had some autoimmune things pop up a few years ago, I just really don't eat sugar anymore. I don't crave it. I use fruit as my sweet thing. So I'm not really having treats anymore. And I'm okay with that, and I don't miss that. But it really depends where you are in your journey. So you may not be at that point where you're like, I can be okay with not having treats. And that's okay. But it's really being in choice with what you want for your health and for your life right now. So I hope that this gave you guys a little motivation and inspiration to just think about sugar. And you can expand this to food, alcohol, and how can I be more in choice with food and with sugar around me. And then thinking, what's that one little step that you can do so you can start getting there? And I encourage that if you know there's something you need to do, what that next little step forward is, head to my Facebook group, Healthy Beyond 40, and share it in that group. Because as we start to share with others, it's going to hold us accountable, but it's also going to inspire others. And I'm all about really reaching beyond ourselves and encouraging and inspiring others. And you guys can do that too. All right, friends. So make sure you guys check the description down below for any of those links I mentioned and keep on moving.